Good morning. I'm just getting everybody in. All right. I'm just checking. I don't see Christina or Mason. All right. All right. Well, we are gonna first, if you have any questions from last night's homework, go ahead and put it in the chat box and we can try to go over a couple problems quick.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
How do you do on like the last couple of questions, how do you draw diagrams?
All right. So are you talking about on the worksheet or on the and from the book?
The worksheet.
All right. So what problem are we on?
It's like 25 to 30.
Okay. All right. Let me pull up my. Let me minimize this for a second and pull the screen share out. Okay. All right, so let's look at 25 first. I'm going to draw, we have a triangle. I'm going to go ahead and put a theta in here and a right angle. So we're just going to look at the inside first, Reed. So sine, we know sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So that means that the opposite side is going to be 4 and the hypotenuse is going to be 5. Okay, now we do not know what this side is. So we can go ahead and find that. So we're going to take 4 squared plus a squared equals c squared, which is 5, sorry. So that'd be 16 plus a squared equals 25. And a squared equals 9. A is 3. So now that you have filled in your triangle, you're going to go ahead and answer the outside part. You just look at the outside. So what's the cosine of that theta? Theta, it would be 3 over 5. So your answer is 3 over 5. So you just draw it and then find the other side, and then you should be able to answer it. Does that help you, Reed? Okay. Anybody else have any questions? All right, so what we're going to do today in class is you have the time to work on your review. So I am going to go ahead and just kind of pick problems to go over, unless you guys want to look at your review really quick here and say, hey, I would like to focus on this problem. We can start with those first. So why don't you pull up your review on your Google Classroom? It's a WebAssign. And I'm going to warn you, when I printed it, I think it's, Mrs. Cole was trying to help me. The audio, her audio is not working. You can type it in your chat box, Ann, if you have a question. But you can hear me okay, right? All right, so anyways, it might pull up the questions a little different than what I have on the key, but we can still work through what's on the key and it'll kind of help you guys with your homework too. So. And you might want to try to sign off and then sign back on and see if that works for you. If you want to do that, you can. Okay. All right. So does anybody want to look at the review and say, hey, I would like to do a certain problem, or would you like, if not, I will just start picking problems and going through them.
Do we need to submit like work for the review?
Yes, yes. It should be on your site, on your, let me pull it up for you guys so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, sorry, wrong. I don't need that up. All right, so if I go to my classroom and classwork, it says right here on assignment for review, it says review the quiz section 6.1 to 6.4, and then the web assign, you just click on the link and get there. And then it says submit work via Google Classroom. So you can answer it on web assign and then just submit your work on Google Classroom so I know you guys did it. So. All right, do you guys have any questions you want to focus on before I just start going over problems?
How do you find the what mode you're supposed to use? Are you supposed to look at like how to answer the problem?
That's a great question, Anne. It depends on each problem. So as you go, you kind of have to think about what am I finding? Am I finding a degree or am I finding in radians? The one thing I do want to make sure you guys understand, majority of the review, you're going to leave the radicals on bottom. So you're not going to rationalize the denominator. There's a couple that they should go in web assign correctly if you leave it on bottom, but when I did it, the answers were in with the radical on top. So those are, I can make sure you guys know which ones those are, but you should be fine. So. All right, anybody have any problems before I get started? I mean, the ones that they would like to for sure go over when you look at the review. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and start. And you guys can work from home on like your own pace too, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and do number 1 up here. And again, if it's different, we were hoping they were the exact same worksheet, but something went wrong, we think. So if it's not the exact same thing you have at home, it's still the same work. So I'm just gonna look at number 1 right here. It says, find the radian measure of the angles. So we need to find radians. So think about that right away. I had 35 degrees. So if you guys want to just talk out loud or even in your chat box, tell me, how am I gonna get from radians to degrees? I gave you a clue here. Think about radians and degrees. You guys know what something about radians and degrees? Does anybody know what they know? What do you know about a degree in radians? Put it in your chat box. Well, how many degrees are in 1 radian? 1 pi radian. All right, let's see it in the chat box here, please. Yes, yes, you guys got it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it right here. So 180 degrees is 1 pi radians. And I don't have to put this 1 here. I can totally cross it off if you guys want to. So degree is on bottom, degree on top, they cancel. So I had 35 pi over 180. Now I could reduce this and get a fraction, but if you look at the answer, it says round your answer to 3 decimal places. So we do not need to take the time to reduce that. Go ahead and put it in your calculator and find it. And I have 0.785 radians, don't forget the radians, is my answer. And if you guys notice right here, you do not need to type in radians because it's already right beside it. Did you guys have the exact same problem at home, like the numbers, or is it different?
Mine was different.
Okay. Sorry, that it was this, Mrs. Cole was helping load it and we think that it didn't load right, so. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and skip to number 4 on here. And it says find an angle between 0 and 360. That is a coterminal with the given angle. So if you think about it, I have 100 or 820 degrees, and that's negative. And I get to 0 to 360. So think about this, how would I get there? I would need to add 360. Now, some of you guys might be able to do this a lot faster and say, well, could I add 720 and then add another, like maybe skip ahead? Yes, you could. So go ahead and add 360. I'm still not between 0 and 360. So I'm gonna add another 360. And I get negative 100. Still not in between that, so I'm gonna add 360 again. And I get 260 degrees. So those of you who might think a little quicker, you might be like, well, can I have just added 1080 right away and get the answer? Yes. So, all right, I'm gonna skip. You guys feel free to ask questions because this is your review. If you would like another problem, but I'm gonna say kind of skip to what I think is like the harder stuff. We're gonna skip to 8
Can you do
next.
5?
What?
Can you do 5?
5? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So on this one, this is 13 pi over 6. Notice it has to be between 0 and 2 pi. So I'm going to subtract 2 pi. Now, I need that as a fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and make that 12 pi over 6, which is pi over 6. And is pi over 6 in between 0 and 2 pi? Yes, I'm done. All right, we're gonna do another one. Skip to number 8 is the next one I think would be a good one to do. Did somebody say something
I have
or
a question about the WebAssign. Is
what?
there like,
Say it again, please.
yeah. Is there a certain number? Oh, sorry.
Wait, say it louder, please, Rowan.
Is there a certain number of resubmissions we have per problem on the WebAssign?
Oh, that's a great question. I do not know the answer because Mrs. Cole set it up for me. I think you can resubmit it multiple times, but I will ask her and I can email you about that later. Would that work?
All right. Yep.
All right, number 8. Thanks, hon. All right, page 8. It's page 3 for me, but I think it's page 2 on your guys's. And maybe not. The central angle in a circle of a radius 4 is subtended by an arc length of 5 meters. Find the measure of theta in degrees, round your answer to 1 decimal place. So it looks hard, but the first thing I would suggest doing is go ahead and draw a little picture of a circle over here. All right. And I'm gonna fill in what I know. I know the radius is 4. and the arc length is 5 meters. So that means when I make this angle, the distance from here to here is 5 meters. So, and this might be helpful for you guys. On my unit circle that I have sitting right next to me, I went ahead and wrote all the formulas right on top. So like if we forgot, what is my arc length? I have it right there with me. So my arc length is S equals R beta. So you can put that on your unit circle if that helps you during this. So while you're working on your review, you have it right there. So my radius is 4. I'm gonna go ahead and put 4 in. I do not know what my measure is. And I know my arc length is 5. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and divide. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and write this down, 5/4. But I want you to think about this for a second. And I'm gonna put radians. This is in radians. I need the angle in degrees. Make sure you read your directions. This says degrees. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and change 5/4 to degrees. So I'm gonna do it right here, 5/4, or if you don't wanna deal with fractions, you can put 1.25 in. Doesn't matter. All right, radians, 1 pi radians is 180 degrees. You can go ahead and multiply and divide. I'll do mine and see what you guys get too. Put in the chat box what you guys got for your answer. We'll see if we get the same thing. Anybody else have an answer? Yep, I got the same thing. I got 71.6 degrees. Remember, you're running to 1 decimal place. So 71.6 degrees. Now, here's something very funny about part B. It says find the measure of the angle and radians. If you look back at part A, you already have the answer. Does anybody recognize where the answer is? If you do, go ahead and put in the chat box what the answer is. But we do need to make sure once we have the answer, we need to change it to decimals. Yep, I agree. It was 5/4 radians, which is 1.25 radians. Okay, great job, you guys. Okay, do you guys have one that you want to go over? Or if not, my next one I want to go over is number 9. This is the next one I'm going to go over. Okay, I'm going to do 9. My first thing when I do number 9, I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle. It helps me see what's going on. It's a ceiling fan with 12-inch blades, rotating at 45 revolutions per minute. Now, it says to find angular speed. Think about this. You already have a speed and revolutions per minute. So think about this. If I go ahead and write this down, maybe see it a little in a bigger picture here. 45 revolutions per minute, per 1 minute. I need to get to radians. So think about when I go around the circle, 1 revolution, how many radians is that? If you know how many radians are in 1 revolution, 1 time around the circle, go ahead and put it in the chat box. You guys got it. Good job. All right, so I have 2 pi right here. So cross revolutions off, and you can go ahead and multiply straight across, and you get 90 pi radians. I should put radians right here, sorry, per 1 minute. So if you want to put in your box right here, 90 pi radians per minute, that'll give you the right exact answer. I didn't ask you to round, so that's how you got 90 pi. All right. Just remember on these ones, if you have a different problem at home, again, I'm sorry that it did not give you the exact same problems we have here. It's different than what I did on the key earlier too. So it needs to be in radians. But you should be able to do these exact same ones at home, just change out the numbers. All right, linear speed. Okay, so linear speed is V equals S over T. Again, if you look up here, we already have S is equal to R theta. So I'm going to go ahead and put in S is my radius, 12 inches, times my angle. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. You need to think about it. It goes 45 revolutions per minute. We already changed that into radians per minute. So it goes 90 pi radians per 1 minute. Okay. So if you want to save yourself some time, you can just take this right here and put it in right there. So I go ahead and take 12 times 90. And I get 1080 pi radians, oh, sorry, inches per minute. Okay, and we're just gonna put that right here, 1080 pi. I would say 9 will be the hardest one for you guys on the one of the harder ones, just because you have to think about what are they asking, what do you need to do, what's my process. That's gonna be a hard one for you. So you can always take, I don't know, like Rowan was saying about resubmitting it, if you wanted to like maybe print a couple tests, you could probably do this a couple times as a practice and see how you guys do with it. All right, I'm gonna skip 10. My next one is 11, I suggested doing.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Reed.
I found out that we have 5 submissions on each question.
Great, there you go. Did you ask the other class?
No, if you just click details, it tells you.
Oh, great, thank you, Reed. So Rowan, you heard that, right? All right, great. All right, number 11. All right, so the biggest thing on this one, just remember when you're talking about sine, cosine, tangent, you need to find all 3 sides. So go ahead and think, I need to use the Pythagorean theorem and solve for my hypotenuse. All right, this one breaks up to 2 radical of 34. Not very pleasant, but we can deal with it. All right, so you guys, how about you pick? Do you want to do A, B, or C? We're not gonna do all of them because we don't want to waste time, but do you have one you want to do? I love how you guys all pick different ones. That's okay. I'm looking to see a couple more come in and I'll decide which one. And right now it's between B and C. All right, we'll go with B. Next one was C, but it's okay. We're just gonna go with, I kind of think C is a little harder, but so we'll go with it. I'll go with that one. All right, so secant is 1 over cosine. So think about that. All right, so cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So I'm gonna go 10 over radical 2 radical 34. Now we have to divide that. So when you divide by a fraction, it flips over and becomes 2 radical 34 over 10. And it has to reduce. So I didn't really need that one, so I'm gonna cross it off. Radical 4 over 5. Now, here's something very interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and start with this answer. And I think you guys will understand once I go through it. This one says cosecant. So that'd be sine, and it's looking at a different angle. That's B up here. We're looking at B this time. Well, sine of B would be 10 over 2 radical 34. Wait a second. These are the same thing. I don't need to do any more work. I already know the answer for both of them. They're both radical 34 over 5. This also happens with sine and cosine. It also happens with tangent and cotangent of, notice how they're different angles. Okay, this is different angles. Okay. They are complementary angles. That's why it happens. All right, I'm gonna skip. I think the next one is kind of different. It's not hard, but 14 might stump you a little bit. Just because you have to express it in X and Y. So if I look at my angle and I want to look at X is adjacent. So I'm going to use cosine of theta equals X over my hypotenuse of 32. I have to solve for X. So I multiply by 32. And there is my X. Okay. I think you guys can get Y from there. So I'm going to skip Y. I want to go to 15 because I feel like 15 was not something we did in class. You can do it. It's just a harder concept. I think you guys might get a little stumped on it. So look at 15 and 16. So if you're like working ahead and not paying attention to me right now, I would put your eyes up and look at 15 and 16 so you don't get stumped on the quiz. So 15 and 16. Notice on 15, do you notice how the angles are the same? The sine is 60 and the cosine is 60. Go ahead and go to your unit circle. And I will pop it up quick if I can and show you what I'm talking about. All right. So on my unit circle, I think if I remember right, that was 60, right? Yes, we're talking about sine is 60 and cosine is 60. Okay, so if I look at my unit circle, this is 60. Sine, when it's sine, we're looking at the Y value. When it's X, or when it's, sorry, sine, we're looking at the Y value. And when we're looking at the cosine, we're looking at the X value. So go ahead, write those down. My Y is square root of 3 over 2, and my X is 1/2. All right, I'm gonna go back to our sheet. So my Y, because sine is Y, is square root of 3 over 2 squared. And my cosine was 1/2. All right, here's the hardest thing. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 squared is 3. 2 squared is 4. 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 4. So this would end up being 1. This is a proof that we later on will maybe see more of, but right now you're just looking at your inner circle to find it. I'm gonna do 16 because I feel like it was hard for you guys. It's just a different concept. So let's look at 45 degrees. I'm gonna pull this up. 45 degrees, my X is square root of 2 over 2, and my Y is square root of 2 over 2. Now I'm gonna go back. So cosine of 45 degrees is square root of 2 over 2. Square it. Oh, sorry. And square root of 2 over 2 is my Y, because they're the same. Square root of 2 squared is 2. 2 squared is 4. I get the same thing over here. All right. And so 2, a half minus a half is 0. All right. You guys are running out of time. I hate that we don't have a lot of time together. If you want to pick the next problem, let me know. If not, I think I'm going to do 20 is my next one I want to try to get to. All right. We're going to look at this. It's a water tower located 375 feet from a building. From a window in the building, observer noticed the angle elevation is 39, deep pressure is 25. We need to find the height of the water tower. So this is A, and this is B, we're gonna call it. If we run out of time, think about it. We need A and B, we're gonna have to combine to get the whole height. So you're gonna have to add them. Also, if we run out of time, I'm gonna go over this really quick. How high is the window? This is our window. I'm gonna call it W. If you notice, this is a triangle too. If this is 25, then this is 25. So I can go ahead and go opposite over adjacent, which is tangent, to find the W. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and work through it with you quick and see how far we get. So 39 degrees, side opposite is A, and I have 375, so that's adjacent, so I need tangent. And I get 351 feet. Make sure you round to the nearest foot. Okay, that's A. You'll do the same thing if I'm B. All right, I'm gonna flip ahead to make sure there's nothing else you guys want to go over quick. Hey, 27, just a note, make sure 27 you rationalize. It might not go in correctly for you. So 27, rationalize the denominator on that one. If you have any questions or if you need some more help, I'm available after 10:45 today. I have Turgeon Academy the rest of the day. So if you just need some help or just go over a couple problems, just send me an email. I'll send you a link to go over stuff. Okay, anybody have any questions that kind of look through it that they're like, hey, can you answer this quickly for me?
I have one question.
Yeah.
On number 19,
Yes.
it keeps telling me my answer's wrong and I'm not sure how.
Okay, let me look at it quick.
I don't know how I'm doing it wrong. So
I'm gonna draw it really quick on mine. I have a different problem, but hopefully it should still work.
yeah.
The top of the lighthouse. So the lighthouse is 270 feet. The angle depression, so this is your angle, is 23 degrees. And we need to know how far it is away. So if this is 23, then this has to be 23. Okay.
Oh, that's what I did wrong.
Okay. And then make sure your mode is in degrees too. That'll make a big difference. Anybody else have a question on one that they're like, I'm not really sure how to do it? tomorrow is the quiz. You will basically, we're gonna sign on, I'll say, just get to work. You have the whole class period to finish it. Just do it at the end of class. Any other problems you guys want to look at quick? We have, actually, we have 10 more minutes, so if you guys want to pick which ones, I can. do those. Which one?
Mrs. Chamberlain, I can't get signed into WebAssign.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on, but I've tried to like reset my password and it's still not letting me on.
Okay, is anybody else having trouble besides Anne? Okay, Anne, let me see what's going on my end quick, see if I can see anything. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys time right now while I am looking at Anne's stuff, and see if you have any other problems you want to go over. All right. And Anne, did you try resetting your password? Maybe it's something like that.
Yeah, I've tried that and like I've gotten some of the emails, but the email link isn't working because it says I need access to the account to like because
Okay.
my account's like expired or something is what they're saying.
Okay, I'm just trying to think, might be easier for me if I go ahead for right now, if I can save it, I'll email it to you. That way you have it.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now though, if I can see, if I can figure out why yours is not pulling up. All right.
So was the WebAssign due before we take the quiz tomorrow?
It's just due by the time the quiz starts tomorrow,
Okay.
because it's really gonna help you doing it versus not doing it before the quiz. All right, and I think I saved it. I'm gonna go ahead and try and email it to you quick. Okay, and see if that see if it's in your email, if you're able to open that.
The email hasn't come through yet.
Okay,
so
give it
I'm
some
just-
time because it's kind of a big document, so just give it just a little bit of time. All right, does anybody have another problem they would like to go over as they're looking through their worksheet that they want to go over? All right, I can pick another one if you don't have one. I'm gonna do 21. So reference angles, this is something you guys yesterday had a little trouble with. Draw it first. 130 degrees is about right here. Okay, so we're talking about reference angles. We're looking at when does it hit, like from the x-axis up, how far that is. So if I take 180 minus 130, I get 50 degrees. That is my angle right here. That's my reference angle. And if I look at the next one, 200 is roughly right here. So if I think about that, I need to find, this is 200. I need to find from here up. Well, I know this is 180. So if I take 200 minus 180, I get 20 degrees. Again, you're looking at the x-axis. This last one, 300, would be roughly around here. And you look down at this angle. So the whole thing is 360. So if I take 360 minus 300, you get 60 degrees. Multiple ways to do that problem, but that's just one of the quicker ways to find it. Ooh, I like number 30 while we're waiting. And did it pop up yet?
Yeah, but I can't see the questions, so I'm trying to add the URL into my drive right now.
Okay,
Like-
if it doesn't work, let me know. And I will also ask the teacher after class to see if I can figure out what's going on with your link. All right.
Okay.
So number 30. I'll do 31 right here. So I start with drawing quadrants. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's ugly 4, but it says tangent is less than 0, so I know tangent has to be negative. So if tangent's negative, if you remember, all of them are positive here, so it can't be here. This is sine, could be there. This is tangent. Tangent's positive, so it can't be there. This is cosine, could be there. And then sine is less than 0, so sine is negative. So it can't be here, so my only quadrant left is 4. So that is your answer. I did record this Zoom session, so if you don't remember how to do a problem, maybe you can pop it back up and look through it again. You guys have one you want to look at, let me know. We're almost out of time. We can look at this one, 32, while we're waiting. Oh, end of class. So if you have any questions, email me. I can probably set up a time to meet with you this afternoon if you need help. And if it does not work, let me know. And I will check with the teacher during break to see if I can get it to work for you. So any other questions? If not, see you tomorrow.
It hasn't started working yet, and I've tried to like add it to my drive, but what happens is like, I don't know if you can see like my screen, but like all of the coding pops up instead of the questions.
Okay, so Anne, what we're gonna do is go ahead and go to your next class. I am gonna brainstorm a little bit. I have 10 5 minutes in my next class. I'll look. If I cannot figure it out now, I will get back to you after 4th, which is 10:45.
Okay, if I need to, I have a break with a study hall and a lunch, and I can drive into the school and take a printed out version.
Okay,
Like if I need to.
okay, that's a good option too. So I'll see if I can get to work on my end. If not, email me that you're coming. I'll print it out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem.